we're gonna continue working on my underground mining area. And today, we're gonna make a lot of progress. I'm adding the central storage to store all of the items produced by the farms underground, as well as all of the accessibility stuff. Then work on all of the interiors and decorations to give life to the underground area. Keep watching for more! Hello everyone, my name is Shira and welcome back to another adventure in Minecraft. I have now updated my world to 1.21.10, which is part of the latest game drop, the Copper Age. So we now have a bunch of new items we can play with, as well as the new Copper Golem. But we're not gonna deal with that today, because today, I'm gonna focus on finishing my underground mining area. That's right, I'm gonna finish the rest of the stuff I haven't done here in this place. And also do the interior design to make this place a little more nicer to look at. So all of that is what I want to do today. Hopefully, I can do it since that is gonna be a lot of work. I've already got a bunch of shulker boxes here full of materials I will need to finish up the project. Oh, and something I have noticed, the lighting kind of felt weird and didn't seem normal. But it looks like this is a thing in the new update. I didn't really know about this change. Not sure how I feel about it. Kinda feels like I have shaders on. Well, I'll probably get used to it eventually. And also, the continuity mod is not updated yet, so glass is back to their default look. Anyway, let's get to doing with our task today. So last episode, I added a bunch of farms down here. A moss farm, a pale moss farm, and a dripstone farm. Oh, and speaking of the dripstone farm, I've already completely filled up the ceiling with the dripstone blocks. And now you can see dripstone growing everywhere in the farm. But even after I built all of that, I still don't have a proper place to store all of the items. And currently, all of them are just currently being placed in a temporary spot that I placed for them. So that's the first thing I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be building a storage system. My plan for the storage system is that I want them all to be in just one section of this area, so everything will be centralized. And I am thinking of building it on this spot over here. And as for my plans for the storage, I want to store all of the items into shulker boxes so I can store even more items while not needing a lot of storage space. So with that being said, I'm gonna build some shulker loaders for each of my farm. And that's exactly what this space is for. I dug out this area and only placed this thing last episode, but it's now time to make use of the rest of the space here. So, let's start building those shulker box loaders. All of the shulker loaders will be built in the space I made down here. And the first one here that I am making will be for the cobblestone. The farm produces loads of cobblestone, so it will have 10 shulker loaders in total. And down here will be for the ones produced from the furnace arrays. The right one for the stone, and the smooth stone in the left. Then at the back here, I digged out a couple of more space to build the rest of the shulker box loaders for the rest of the farms. And here we are with all of the loaders all in place. Up there is the one for cobblestone. Then here's the stone and for smooth stone, which are also now connected to the furnace arrays. As for the ones over here, here's the one for the moss farm. It's not connected to the farm yet, but directly above this is the moss farm. And the one over there is of course the one for the pale moss farm. Then finally the one over here. These 4 modules here are for my dripstone farm, which is also not connected to the farm. I'll get to doing that a little bit later. And then, this over here is where all of the shulker boxes will go to, which later will connect to the main storage system. So next up is to work on that. Now for the storage system, I'm gonna build it here. And since most of the items are stored in shulker boxes, I'm gonna build a shulker box bulk storage system. And with a little bit of editing magic, the whole storage system is now ready to use. I've built one of these before when I built my magma cube farm. And I mentioned there that I forgot where I found the design from. And I still can't find it unfortunately. But hopefully I will one of these days, so I can properly credit it. And I've already labeled each using these blocks to know where they are sorted, although the chests are currently empty. There's also this chest on the sides here. These ones are not included in the bulk storage system as these are just your regular old item storage. And this ones here stores the azalea flowers, then the ones here are for the carpets. I don't really need to store these items in bulk, so this is enough. And that's the storage system. I've also connected all of the shulker loaders below and all of the farms here to the storage system. And if I go into Freecam, you can see down here, there's a bunch of water streams that connects to everything. It was kind of a pain to build this, but now all of it is done. Also, something I added behind the storage system, there's a path going down, and down here, there's a bunch of composters. And this is where all of the excess items from both the moss and pale moss farms go to, so I can turn them into bone meal. And back up here in my moss farm, I'm gonna show you how it works. So let's turn this on. And here it is working as it should. Then here it will first go down to the shulker loaders, where here, I've also added an item filter so only the moss blocks will get taken here. It's currently not getting any moss though since I disabled it. But anyway, all of the excess items will go here and through this water stream in the storage system to store all of the azalea flowers and carpets. And then finally, the rest of them will go to the composters. Then if you follow the bone meal, it will go through this water stream that goes through the moss and pale moss farm to fill up the dispensers. And once the dispensers are full, all of the excess bone meal, if we follow this final bit here, will go here into another shulker loader that loads up the bone meal. So we can also store bone meal if I want to. This also connects to the water stream like the rest of the shulkers and go to the storage system. Though I don't have anywhere to store the bone meal just yet. But we're gonna be working on that right now since the next one I will be working on will be in the center part here. And here we're gonna solve most of the accessibility issues we have here in the underground mining area. We already have this switch here to turn on the stone generator, but we don't have an easy way to redirect the path of the cobblestone to the furnace arrays. The switch of that is right over there, and the one for the smooth stone is way down over there. So we're gonna do something about that so that everything can be done here in this floor. Aside from that, I also want an easy way to load up the dispensers of the shulker loaders with some empty shulker boxes, as well as the fuel for the furnace arrays, which currently I'm just putting the coal inside this chest here. So all of that needs to be accessible from the central area up top. If you are enjoying the video, click the like button and subscribe to see more of my videos. Now let's get back to work. I'm finally done with everything here in the central area. So first is the control panel that I have over here. This is a button selector which lets me select what type of stone I want when I activate the stone generator. The lamp here tells me what mode it's currently on, and it's currently at cobblestone, so it's currently at default. Currently. But if I press the one for stone, the lamp will switch. You can see here that it activated the sticky piston, then powered up this redstone line here, which is actually the one that redirects the water stream down here. Then if we switch this to the smooth stone, it will also still power this redstone line, but there's also another redstone line going there, And this one is the one that powers the one over down here that redirects the water stream for the Spootstone. And that's it for this control panel. Then over on this side, we have this here, a fuel input and one for the empty fuel boxes. The fuel input is where I put the fuel for the furnaces down below. But instead of directly putting the coal there, I need shulker boxes full of them. And then I just need to place them in this barrel here, and it will follow this water stream down below until they go to this one, a shulker unloader. And what this does is that it unloads all of the content inside the shulker box here into this hopper. Then when it is depleted, this piston will push the shulker box to remove it, and it will then get immediately replaced by another shulker box. So with this system, the furnace will continue to have fuel as long as I have enough of it here. Oh, and by the way, something I forgot to mention last episode. This is actually why I have this much level on me. I grinded in my wither skeleton farm to get all of the coal needed for this system here. So yeah, that is why. Once the shulker boxes down there for the fuel is empty, it will then get put inside this chest here so that I can easily grab them and fill them back up again. Now on the other side here is the shulker box input and bone meal storage. This one here is very self-explanatory. This is just where the shulker box full of bone meal will get stored in. There's a water stream somewhere above here that connects to that storage system. And if you go up here and open up this place, inside here we have one of these guys, same as the one over there, to filter out the shulker boxes full of bone meal. This barrel is where I put all of the empty shulker boxes that will get put into the hopper line down there, connected to every single shulker loaders in this place. And if we follow this, we can see this hopper line here, first going through all of the shulker loaders for the cobblestone. Then if we follow through here, it will then get split up in this chest here, so that it will fill up all of the other shulker loaders we have down in this section over here. And I almost forgot, down here in this chest here, the hopper line gets split as well, and this one leads to the one for the bone meal shulker loader. And that is how I will replenish all of the empty shulker boxes for my shulker loaders. The lamp here is still not on since I still need to fill up every single hopper that I've shown you with shulker boxes. And that is gonna be a very huge grind. I have a very good shulker farm, so I have no problems with the shulker shells, but I don't have any tree farm just yet, so getting loads of wood is still a very slow grind. It looks like I need to build a tree farm sometime soon. And that's it for all of the functional bits in the underground mining area. All of the farms are now fully functional, and all of the things can now be accessed in this floor here. And with that done, all that's left to do is to do the interiors. It's finally time to decorate this place, which will include everything here, from the entrance to all of the areas that houses the farms. And let's also not forget this here, because I also have some plans on how to make this area here look more appealing. With all that said and done, it's time to do some decorating to this place. Let's get decorating. we're done with the interiors and decorations here in the underground mining area. And now, it's time for a little tour. Here we are at the entrance. And the very first thing that we will see here is that a pickaxe to signify that this is a mining area. There's a bunch of other decorations here and there to make the place look more interesting. And they also have beds placed here. Most of the floor here is made out of quartz to give it a clean look. Then down here, we have our nether portal, which is still in the same spot. Then at the wall there, you can see some amethyst inside. There was an amethyst geode here earlier which I removed, but I kind of want to keep a little bit of it, so I made this little geode here, as well as on the other side. We also have a little reception area here. Now let's move on to the main central area. The floor here I have is that I have a black concrete with sea lanterns to light up everything. Then I use this mushroom stem here for the rest of the floor. Then as for the ceiling, I use cauldrons which looks good as a ceiling. We have the beacon beam here encased in some tough blocks. Then in front of it is our mining entrance or the branch mines. I have some chests here where I can put the blocks you usually get from mining, and I've labeled them for easier identification. And speaking of, this is my first use of these shelf blocks. They're very great for building, and this is the one I was most excited to use in this update. It also works just like an item frame, since you can place some items in it, which is pretty cool. Here's the way to the branch mines, but I've closed it off. I still haven't finished this part yet, unfortunately, so it's gonna be hidden for now. I've actually built something inside there, but it's not finished yet, so for now, let's close it off. We'll get back to this place once I'm actually done with it. Then here's the central control panel, which is looking pretty cool. Then back here is the storage system. And that's pretty much everything in the central area. Oh, and also, if I want to access the backside of the storage system, I can just click on this note block here, and it will open up a path where I can get in. And of course, I also did some interior designing here. I used copper for a lot of my back-end pipes and other stuff, since they look very industrial. And this is also another use for the shelf blocks. And this acacia one looks good with the copper blocks. And here I can even climb up to reach these parts of the redstone bits of the storage system. And even all the way up here. Then down here are the composters. And I've even added more composters here to the system. There's also a window back here just to see this part here, which is just the water above the dripstone blocks for my dripstone farm. And yep, I've also decorated it a little bit. Everything that I build needs to look pretty, okay? Then back up here, I also have this button which reveals a secret path that leads to the back end part of my stone generator. The other side there also has one as well. Now, let's get to the farms. Here's the entrance to the moss farm, and this is what it looks like from inside. This part of the room here is where all of the functions are, which I'll get to in a bit. Then down here is the farm itself. I've decorated the ceiling with some azalea leaves and glowberries to give it a very natural look. Then I've added those things there just to add more decorations, and also these walls over here. Then here we have two things, a power switch, then a button to change modes. The power switch, of course, turns on the farm, which also lights up the redstone lamp up there. And now we can see the farm working. Then this button here changes whether I want to get moss in the farm or focus on just getting bone meal. And since this is currently lit up, the shulker loader down there that collects the moss are currently deactivated. And I can actually show you how it works. So if we go down here, when it is activated, I just have some sticky pistons here with the iron blocks closing off the filters. And if I do that, no moss will go to the filters and go to the shulker loaders down below. Although technically, even if I don't do this, the production of the farm is so fast that I will still get bone meal regardless. So this is just a way for me to control if I want to get some moss blocks or not. Then the pale moss farm is similar to the moss farm, but here for the ceiling I use some pale oak leaves and those pale vines, I think they're called. And the controls are very similar to the moss farm as well. Now for the dripstone farm, I've also decorated the stairway here, and if you go down, here's what it's looking like here. This part of the room here is the control panel, which also has a power switch and also a button to change modes again, just like the other farms. I've also decorated the inside parts of this farm, if we can actually see it. Hold on a sec. There we go. So not much decoration done since I still need to keep the wall flat inside, but it looks decent enough for my taste. This button here just changes if I want the pointed dripstone or the block. It's currently making the block, so all of the pointed dripstone goes through this water stream here and through these crafters, and they're being turned into the blocks. Then all of the blocks are then put in the shulker loaders down below here. But if I turn it into the pointed dripstone, the water stream here is redirected to this other side, where they just go through these hoppers connected to the 3 shulker loaders down below here, which are all for the pointed dripstone. And that pretty much covers everything that is up here. Now, there's one final place left to show you. And to get there, we just need to open this 3x3 piston door and go down this stairway here. And down these stairs, we have the backbone of the underground mining area, all fully decorated. Here are my furnace arrays, and up there are some of the shulker loaders, as well as these ones back here. Then all of the water streams that transfers all of the items are in these copper lines over here. I've used a lot of copper in this place, and now I've actually run out of it, which is actually quite bad since I really like building with the copper blocks. But anyway, at least this section of the build is done, and I'm actually pretty proud of what I did here. Everything just fits all together. And now that's pretty much everything in the underground mining area. All this building took me, well, more than 10 hours, which is quite a lot. Didn't quite realize that it will take this long, to be honest with you. But fortunately, all is done now and my underground mining area is complete. Oh yeah, and if I don't want to use the stairs, I also have some water elevator here if I want to get up quicker. But even after all of that, this project is still not done. Because first, the mining area is still not done, so I'm still gonna work on that. And also here in my entrance, as you can see here, the entrance that leads outside still looks like this. And up here, I plan to have some kind of build here that will lead to the underground area. So yeah, a lot of work still needs to be done. Regardless though, I've still made a lot of progress, so that's something to be happy about. And that's actually all of the time I have for this episode. So, if you enjoyed the episode and want to see more, click the like and subscribe button. I appreciate the support. We'll continue on our next adventure next time. I'll see you when I see you.